Hi, Carlise. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a nice day, so I'm good.
Okay. Well, what's been going on since we last met?
Um, Nothing really. I mean, I had that first court date where they was trying to figure out if they was gonna charge me with assaulting that girl or whatever, but um I guess the girl really didn't want the charges. It was more like the school pressing the charges because it happened. So the school and the girl's family is still trying to work out what they want to do. So they had to adjourn the hearing, and then we got to go back again. So I still don't know what's going to happen with that.
Okay. What about the like homework assignment or the activity that we talked about last time where you were going to just kind of, if you got into any situations where you started to feel angry, just kind of thinking about that. Did you have any luck with doing anything differently or any experiences where you felt anger and you were able to think about that?
I mean, I had just at home, really, not because I ain't been in school. So just really at home, and I ain't been really dealing with too many people outside of that to where it was an issue because I just kind of been hanging with my friends and then working. But
Okay.
so at home, it's just like more of the same all the time. So I'm trying to control that. I tried it. I mean, like I said, my grandmother be pushing my buttons all the time. So I tried to do that, to think about it before.
So think about what before.
Like when they was making me mad, I had to think about like, okay, what I was gonna do, what my response was gonna be.
Okay. So you were able to kind of stop and think about what your response is going to be. So just starting with that is important because, you realize that even though like we cannot control what other people are going to say to us or how they're going to say it, we still have choices. We still have a choice. So you still have a choice to decide how you're going to react to that. So were you able to do something different than you normally would have done?
Um, I mean, I was able to walk away
Okay.
without it blowing up into something else. I just try not to respond because whatever I gotta say is not gonna be a good response anyway. So
It sounds like you don't really feel heard by your family.
I mean, I don't never. I mean, not all the time. Definitely not by my grandmother. She don't hear nothing but what she just hear herself talking. She don't hear me. So I mean, my mom tried to listen, but my mom is not there most of the time when a lot of this is going on. And even when I get into it with my mom, she listened to me, but it's still I'm just gonna do what I do it my way anyway. So
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So, I want to try like something with you. Let's talk about because you did show you were able to do something different. You're able to walk away, but it sounds like in other situations, like when you're at school, especially with other peers and stuff like that, it's a lot harder for you to like walk away from those situations. Would you agree with that?
yeah.
So what I want to do is not only help you to address and improve, those relationships at home with your family, because I realize they're conflicted, but also prepare you for whenever you do go back to school so that you are able to better rein in the anger or make a different choice when you do feel angry so you can be better prepared and not have to find yourself in the same situation of going to court, having these court dates, possibly going to juvenile detention and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd like to do is kind of let's do like a pros and cons or cost benefit analysis of anger. So basically, we can look at like advantages of anger and disadvantages of anger, and we're gonna like actually make a note of these, and then think about like having control in that situation and the advantages of being able to have control and maybe disadvantages of having control. So before we start doing this and thinking about someone like having control, how would you describe that person?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to describe somebody in control.
Well, do you feel like you are ever in control?
I'm in control until somebody, piss me off, and then it's whatever after that.
Yeah. But then that's the most important time when you can, exercise your control.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that might be in control, maybe if you were to see someone in a situation where somebody is confronting them and they don't react by like fighting them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we're just witnessing that situation. Like you see someone and someone is coming at them in a negative way, they're instigating something, they're trying to get under their skin, but the person doesn't react. How would you describe that person? How do you see them?
Like they a punk.
Okay, maybe they're a punk. Maybe they are maybe they're easygoing. Maybe
that, or they just scared.
they could be scared. Um,
No, I ain't trying to look like no punk.
okay. What
Like,
if they are more? What if they're just like more forgiving and like of other people? Like, what if they try to come with a sense of understanding of the other person?
okay.
All right. Well, okay, so let's just go to this. So
now you want me to understand this person that's talking crazy to me?
right, it seems like counterintuitive or like counterproductive. But
Because I could care less about what they're going through, truthfully.
well, that's the thing is that right, a lot of people are going through things. So when someone's going through something, maybe one way they act out is to like pick a fight with other people because they're hurting inside. But so maybe it's like really understanding, like if you have a better understanding of the other person, then maybe you'll realize, and I'm not saying this is true across the board, and this might not be true in every situation, but it could be a possibility that maybe that person's hurting and the way they're dealing with their hurt is to go be a bully and a punk to someone else. And when in reality, they're just doing that because they're trying to cover their own hurt. You know what I mean? And maybe you have your own hurt too. And the way you might deal with it is to react to other people. But so let's say, okay, so let's talk about like what are the advantages of anger in these situations when you feel triggered, when you're feeling provoked?
I get my point across.
Okay.
Because otherwise, don't nobody pay attention. They not hearing me. They not, trying to listen to what I'm saying. So I get my point across.
Okay. What are some of the disadvantages of the anger?
Obviously, I get charged. I have to go to court.
Right.
Everybody mad.
Do you believe it's possible for you to have other ways of getting your point across that doesn't involve you like fighting them or something like that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, what if there could be some other ways that you could get your point across? Would you want to try those out so that it doesn't result in you, what you just said, the disadvantages of anger, which is you getting in trouble and going to court, going to jail?
I mean, I'm sure there's something, but I mean, what did you just ask me?
If there was other ways, like, would you be willing to try other ways if there was other ways for you to get your point across to people besides just reacting?
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna try it or not, but I mean, we can talk about it and see what it is.
Okay. So
I did already tried being quiet and walking away, so that was hard enough, but we'll see.
okay. So I think another thing that I wanted you to try to do over the week, and I'm not sure if you really have the ability to do this or not, but whenever you are starting to feel triggered by anger, were you able to ask yourself, like, what are the thoughts that's going on inside me right now? Like, what am I thinking right now?
I don't know, not really. I mean, I think I was just thinking I, that I needed to stop and just walk away and not say nothing. But the thoughts that was going through my head was just like, I don't want to hurt this person, so let me just walk away.
Okay. So you were able to do some problem solving, basically. You were able to recognize your anger and say, like, I'm going to hurt this person, but I don't want to hurt them, so I'm going to just walk away from the situation. And maybe that's where you're at right now, which is fine, is just walking away from the situation. If you're able to walk away from the situation with like your grandma and sometimes your mom, do you feel like you would be able to walk away from the situation with other people?
No, not really. I mean, it's possible, but it just depends on the situation.
So what makes you think that you wouldn't be able to walk away, or what would that be saying to the other person, or what would that be saying about yourself if you decided to walk away from the situation?
I don't know what that says about myself because I don't see me walking away from something going down at school. Because I gotta say something. It's just not gonna be somebody talking crazy and I'm not gonna say nothing. But I don't really know.
Okay.
I mean, at home it's easier because I can like I say, ain't nobody else there but me and her, maybe my sister, and then I could just walk away or I'll just leave. Like at school, it's just like people follow you, they taunt you, they keep talking, they keep saying stuff. So
Okay. Um, so people will just like keep following you and bugging you, I guess, at school. So it's a lot harder for you to actually walk away from that situation.
it's just harder to walk away from stuff at school. So
Mhm. What, like, what do you think makes it harder for you to walk away from someone at school as opposed to like your grandma?
man, I don't even know. Like I said, I really don't want to don't hurt my grandmother. Them people at school, I don't really care nothing about.
Okay. So maybe it's like that lack of even like you don't really care about the other people, lack of understanding of the other people. Um like do you feel like you what like even though so you're basically saying like you obviously care about your grandma because you don't want to hurt her. And so you're able to walk away from that situation more. Um do you think like if you're able to, since you are able to like talk back to that person, do you feel like it would be helpful if you had someone at school to like mediate some of these conflicts? So, you know, like a third party, like if there's a school counselor or like a therapist, and let's say you have an issue with someone at school and it needs to be resolved in some way, and you don't want to go the fighting route because we're trying not to do that. Do you think it would be helpful if there was just a third party whereby you like you two, whoever you have a problem with, are, you know, sitting in a room or something and you're able to both voice whatever the issue and concern is and have someone kind of mediate that so that they can help both of you basically feel heard and respected, but also feel like you're trying to get out what you're trying to say to kind of like get to the bottom of the issue, whatever the issue is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, and there's people that at the school like that, but you know, in the moment, it ain't like that they standing right there.
Right. Well, you're right. I guess it's like time. Um, so like you've already showed you've been able to walk away. So if it happens anywhere at any time, would it be possible for you to walk away and go get someone that could, you know, help mediate the situation?
I don't know, maybe. I guess that just depends on the situation.
Okay. Yeah. Um like it also seems that whenever, because you said that you can't really walk away sometimes, or you at least always have to defend your own or say something back to someone. It feels like, or it seems like that you don't want to be perceived as not having some kind of control or power in that way. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what I guess my question is, you know, what is like your concern or what is your fear about actually just walking away from a situation, or what's your fear about not saying something back to someone? Because you're saying that you always have to do that.
Because I'm not about to look like no punk. People they think that that I'm weak if I don't say something, number one. So that's not the case. So I'm just not gonna let them get away with saying whatever they want to say.
People think you're weak if you don't respond. Okay. What if other people thought you were like weak if you did respond?
How did that work? Because
I just mean in a sense of like, if someone does respond, in one sense, the way you're looking at it is you don't want to be seen as weak as someone that can get preyed on or bullied, which I understand that. But in another sense, there's also kind of that like lack of that self-control that happens sometimes when you react physically or become, you know, aggressive. So what if there's like a balance between that? Like, you don't want to be seen as being weak because you don't want to become a target for anyone. But also, you want to be able to, control yourself and your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are your thoughts about what I mentioned earlier, that some other people are maybe just hurting inside, and the way they're dealing with it, it's not the right way, and they're dealing with it by lashing out on other people. What are your thoughts about that?
Then that's their problem.
Yes, but when does it become your problem? Because let's say that they're doing that because they have their own stuff. It's their problem, but it becomes your problem if you engage with them and then you react to them and then things become aggressive and then there are consequences.
Then I guess that's when it becomes my problem, because they say something crazy and I gotta defend whatever they saying to me, because I'm just not about. I told you, I'm just not about letting nobody talk crazy to me.
Right. But what do you think, do you think that if you were able to try to understand them more, that they might be able to understand you more?
I mean, I don't see that happening,
Okay. uh I guess I'm just trying to, you know, basically do some reality checking with you and just kind of exploring your anger and what happens for you in these situations and things that we could do differently. But another thing that would be really helpful is actually meeting with your mom, possibly your grandma, but maybe even just starting with your mom. Because even though you talk about having conflicts with her, she's not always home. I think it would be important to meet and kind of do some work with her. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you'd be willing to do something like that?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we try a little experiment right now? Let's do a little role play. So let's think about, I'm going to pretend to be your mom, and obviously you be you. And let's say we're at home, and let's just do a little role play and see what happens, and then we'll talk about it. Is that all right?
Mhm.
All right. All right. So all right, we're at home. All right. Carlise, I told you not to go out with your friends last night. You were supposed to stay home. What happened?
I wanted to go out.
But, you weren't supposed to go out. You're supposed to stay here and help your sister out and your grandma. I mean, what am I supposed to do with you?
I mean, she didn't even want me here anyway. And Angel can do what she, can do it by herself. So they didn't need me here.
Yes, but you didn't listen to me. You went out anyway. I told you one thing and you didn't do it.
No, because I had plans.
Okay, but sometimes you're going to have to change your plans. When I tell you to stay home, I need you here for a reason. There's a reason behind it. And you just disobeyed it and ignored it completely. What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't know what you're going to do with that.
I mean, I know you're getting older, but you still need to respect the rules. Just nothing? I'm not getting anything from you now? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I wanted to leave, so I left. And I mean, now what?
So, I mean, I don't know what to do because I could say there's going to be consequences to your actions. The only thing I can think of is, to just ground you. And if I do that, there's no guarantee because you're probably just going to leave again. Like, I want you to be safe and I want you to have a good time with your friends, but I also want you to, respect when I say tonight, like, I needed you to stay home. Or, yes, last night I needed you to stay home.
But I don't understand why you needed me here so bad. When Angel was here, could have did it. And
because I needed you to help with some of the chores around the house. I needed you to help with dinner with your sister. Like, there was just certain things that I needed your help with because I had to work and I wasn't here to do them. Do you think that, like, all right, let's like stop the role play for a second, okay? So is that like something that might actually happen at your house, like with your mom?
Yep.
And does it kind of plays out like that?
Yep.
Okay.
And then she just keep going and going, and then I probably get mad and I leave anyway.
Okay. So you just end up leaving? I noticed too that you just got like really quiet and didn't have anything else to say
Yeah,
back.
because it wasn't gonna matter what I said anyway. She wasn't going. It didn't matter because it was just supposed to be her way, so it didn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Do you think that you and your mom would be able to, so like if we bring her in and work with her as well, do you think you guys would be able to kind of come to a compromise? Because you obviously have things that you want to do in your life, and I get that. Like, friends are really, really important to you, especially where you're at in life. So do you think it would be like, do you think it would work if your mom said something like, can we come to a compromise? So basically, not that she's going to keep you from going out with your friends, but like if she wanted you home for some reason, and let's say it was because you needed to do chores or help out with dinner or whatever, do you think it would be okay if your mom was like, hey, Carlise, can you help with these chores and making dinner, and then you can go out with your friends? Like, is there any kind of compromises you think that you'd be able to make with your mom like that?
I mean, it's possible if she said it. I mean, said like that, but
Okay. Where it's like, because you're both getting what you want out of the situation, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there could be a way, because you guys are just butting heads and she's not really getting anywhere with you, and you're just going to do what you're going to do anyway, is where you're at right now in your life. So I'm just wondering if, we bring her in and we talk to her and work with her on some things, and so I can see your interactions. I could see you guys interact with each other, and then kind of see if we can come up with different ways of interacting with each other, different ways of requesting things. Maybe it's not her just telling you what to do. Maybe it's like, if you do X, Y, and Z for me, then you can go out with your friends and have a good time, because she's getting help that she needs at the house, but then you're also going to get to go hang out with your friends. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it sounds good.
Okay. So would you be willing to have her come in and meet with us?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we can plan to do that in the future. Other things are just, remembering that whenever you're feeling triggered by anger, just knowing that our emotions are information to us, obviously. You know, anger is also going to give you energy, right? We talked about that. We talked about the changes you feel in your body, the heat, the energy you get from anger. So the emotion itself doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just information. What you do with it, though, that's what we are trying to work on, is what you do with the anger once you have the anger. Once you're feeling angry, what you do with it. Because you do have a choice. You have a choice during that time. And even if you don't want to be seen as weak by other people, you still have a choice to react in a different way, so that you're not having the harmful consequences, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we will definitely have your mom come in and meet with us, and we're going to continue to work on these steps. And I know, like, right now you might still be sitting there thinking, I don't know exactly how I'm going to change this or whatever, but I think that we can work together and do like several different things, because some things might work for you and some things might not work. So sometimes it's kind of a trial and error process. It's just trying things out. And you've already shown me that you've been able to try some things over this past week. You are able to walk away from the situation at home. So I want to help you be able to, if that's where you're at, just walk away from the situation at school or try other things to deal with it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Has anything today, do you feel like anything that we've talked about today, has anything been helpful for you?
Just talking about bringing my mom in and trying to figure out
I think you froze. Sorry, you froze for like a couple minutes. So you were saying bringing your mom in?
Yeah, talking to her.
Okay. So yeah, I agree. I think it could be a really helpful meeting for us to all three get together and work on some things. Absolutely. And then you also will have me there so that I can help kind of mediate and things like that. I can see how you guys are relating to each other, and we can practice different ways of communicating with each other, especially with you and your mom. I think that's an important relationship that you have. And also, sometimes it's difficult because she's not there, but I think that's a good place to start. So is there anything, sorry, you're like frozen again, but hopefully you'll unfreeze in a second. Is there anything that you would like to see like different in our sessions? Anything you would want to try? Just what are your overall thoughts on working together?